I don't know. I think it's his goal to make us cry through this whole month about laughter. And beautifully so, too. Thank you so much for Tyler Hunsaker, too, and also Susan Stewart for some very beautiful music. Thank you. And good morning, beautiful people of the center. A special thank you also to our stage designer, William Abel, for a beautiful stage. And which obviously is calling upon the fact that it is Palm Sunday and heralding the arrival of Easter coming soon, and with that, the One Heart Choir coming to sing with us next week. Very exciting. The theme for our whole month is the healing power of humor, and today's particular topic is what we should know about humor, and as the song says, those times when it's not appropriate to laugh or to poke fun at people, why we don't laugh sometimes, and where to begin to reintroduce humor into our life, and how to minimize humor risks by, not doing inappropriate stuff. But before I talk about that, last week I mentioned the people at www.happier.com who have put together a whole website based on recent research that looks at the benefits of happier making activities and how that contributes to supporting us in having a wholesome, happy experience of our own life. And you can go right there and look at all the links and go and look at the articles and research that they cite. I've brought a few of them with me to share with you. And the first one I'd like to point to is the idea that expressing gratitude has been shown to do more than just improve your mood. That in fact, when you and I take the time to focus on just the small things in life, the small wonderful moments, and appreciate them, even if that's as small as I took a breath and it was easy to do so, we take that moment to appreciate it, it contributes to an attitude adjustment in general to the positive. It's beneficial to do so, especially if we take the extra time to actually write it down. This is really the center of the idea taught in the Beyond Limits class that Reverend Jeff Anderson is going to be teaching in the summer. This idea that what we focus on in our awareness has the uncanny tendency to multiply. In other words, what we are looking at, we tend to see more of. It seems magical and mysterious, and yet it's very, very practical and normal, as the people from the Harvard Medical School report in a study from two psychologists, one in UC California, Davis, the other one, I believe, in University of Miami. What they did was they took a bunch of people, divided them into three groups, and gave them separate instructions. The first group was invited to take a moment every single day and just write down something that they appreciated during the day, their day, something that they were grateful for. The second group of people were given the instruction to write down something every day, noting something that irritated them, something that bothered them during the course of their day. The third group was given a kind of neutral assignment, just invited to make an entry in a journal about something in their day without any indication as to whether it ought to be a beneficial, positive, negative, not anything. Just keep a record of their day. And don't you know, in 10 weeks of observing these people and monitoring their activities and so on, the researchers noted a few things. That those people who were given the task to record their gratitudes tended in general to be more optimistic about their life. They tended to feel better about their engagement in life. And they exercised more. And it seems they made fewer visits to doctors during that 10 weeks. Of course, the research report makes a disclaimer saying, studies such as this one cannot prove cause and effect. But it goes on to say, most of the studies published on this topic do support an association between gratitude and an individual's well-being. I kind of think they've been reading our stuff. Because here's what they go on to say. They've on this very beautiful site, there are some suggestions for how you and I might cultivate gratitude on a regular basis. Do you remember we spent a whole month on this last year? And here's their first suggestion: write a thank you note. You remember that? Heard that somewhere before? Well, why would that contribute? Because when we take the time to write a thank you note to somebody, it nurtures the relationship between us and another human being. Not only that, it gives an avenue of expression to our creativity where we can express the enjoyment and appreciation that we received from a kind act. And not only that, it helps us acknowledge the beneficial impact that another person has on our life, and in that way share the joy even further than our own experience. And they recommend at the site that we do it regularly. Like, for example, make an investment. Go to Stepping Stones Books and Gifts and buy a whole box of thank you cards and put it on your desk. So every day or every week you make a habit of writing one to someone. And to also, they suggest to take some time, at least once a month, to write a note of appreciation to yourself. They have been reading our stuff. The second recommendation for developing an attitude of gratitude is to take time to say the thank you mentally. Even if you're not inclined to write notes, that's not your thing, that you can get the exact same benefit if you just imagine someone who's done something that you appreciate to you or to someone else, and then mentally imagine appreciating them and saying thank you. And they reckon that the effects on us are exactly the same as if we took the time to write it down. How about that? This is a wonderful exercise for the end of your day or the beginning of your day. It's a beautiful meditative experience to call into your mind someone and imagine appreciating them and giving thanks. Imagine saying it to them. Oh, it sets a person on the right foot for a day. Here's the third thing that they recommend. Keep a gratitude journal. Where have you heard that before? And make it a habit, they say. Make it a habit to write something down. Like, for example, every Saturday, it's a wonderful family, a whole family activity. In fact, if you have a journal that you set aside and you bring it out every year at the same time, say, for example, at Thanksgiving, and pass it around the table for everyone to write down something or a couple of things that they're grateful for, oh my, over time, what a beautiful history you have in your treasure of what gratitude there is to celebrate. The second thing on happier.com is this, that a person's happiness is related to the happiness of their friends and their friends of their friends and the friends of their friends of their friends, and way beyond into a whole social network far beyond the horizons of what you ever imagined. How about that? See, the researchers at Harvard University of San Diego found that for each additional happy friend that you and I have, it increases our happiness probability by 9%. Now, I have no idea how they made that conclusion, but here is my analysis for you. Surrounding ourselves with happy people is very good for us. But not only for us, but for our friends and our family, because happiness is contagious. And it's like a ripple effect, and then their friends and their family, and by extension, very soon we are doing something wonderful to contribute to a world that works for everyone. And does that mean we should avoid unhappy people? No, because sometimes that is us, right? No, we're just talking about adding to the mixture, adding to the equation, the intentional association with happiness as a way of doing something wonderful for the world. It's not either or. It's both and. How about this one, number 3? Spending money on others and doing small acts of kindness makes people happier. Who'd have thought? Now, if you go to the Journal of Happiness Studies and the Journal of Social Psychology, there you will find papers that describe how people who spend their resources on other people, and people who spend their time on other people report increasing happiness effects on themselves, more so than when they focus entirely on themselves. Oh, it's very important for us to take care of ourselves and to do good things for ourselves. You know, a splurge day is really good every now and then, and a day when you completely selfishly pamper yourself is very, very important. And at the same time, now it is known that when people do good for others, studies show that that act of kindness results in an increase in personal happiness, most likely because of the feeling that goes with that, of being connected to other people in the world. And this is very, very important for feeling good about your own life. So I was telling a friend of mine about this, about the effects of doing good and acts of kindness for other people. So they said, oh, I get it now. So in other words, kindness is selfish. I thought that was a cute way of looking at it. Number 4, having friends can save your life. Well, here's what they mean by that. A study, the Brigham Young University, along with the University of North Carolina. Now, this is a big study. They took over 300,000 people, and they studied them, and they noticed that there's a 50% increased likelihood of survival in life among participants with stronger social relationships. In other words, spending more time with your friends and family contributes to longevity and life satisfaction. Another one of my friends said to me, yeah, that's great, but what if your family is grumpy? Well, we're not trying to get rid of the grumpy people. Remember, we're just looking to mix it up and bring some more happy into the mix and make sure that we spend time with happier people too. So how can you do that? Take advantage of the center. Come to the free meditation experiences. Be there for that. Or show up once a month for our temple maintenance activity where we clean up and pull weeds and do the things and eat pizza afterwards. Or volunteer with one of our non-profit partners in whatever work they're doing in the world that resonates with you. In other words, step forward, show up, and connect. Because, as Happier.com says, listen to this, low social interaction can be as bad for you as smoking 15 cigarettes a day, and is twice as bad for your health as obesity. Wow. Wow. But anyway, who today smokes anyway? Nobody smokes, right? Right? That's very uncool. I mean, if it didn't kill a person, I would probably smoke because it is so cool, but it kills you. It's very well known. Did you know that? It's like putting arsenic in your tea. But I digress. I'm not judgmental. Spending money on experiences instead of things increases your happiness. There's this interview that's reported on Happier.com with a research person in San Francisco talking about how people feel much, much better with their spending when they are spending for an experience than when they are purchasing things, even if that thing is something they truly love. They rate their happiness experience higher when they are purchasing an experience. Isn't that something? And it reminded me of something I've learned here at the center, about the subtle shift between two worlds of inner and outer. How important it is, well, how you feel in comparison to what you own. The important difference between what you witness in comparison to what you possess. The difference, the quality difference between how much you love in comparison to how much you earn. I learned that here. It reminds me of a song by the Unitarian minister Fred Small called Everything Possible, in which the lyrics say, "The only measure of your words and your deeds is the love you leave behind when you're gone." Experience, the experience of being makes us happy. Number 5. Exercise makes you happy. It just does. You know the amazing thing about it? If you love this beautiful body you have, it responds so well. It responds just to the littlest gesture of kindness, and you always get so much more back than what you invest. Isn't that wonderful? It's grace. It's unearned. You just give it a little bit, and it just gives you so much. In other words, you don't have to become a professional athlete. You don't even have to join a gym, although this is a good idea. You don't have to hurt yourself. But you do have to get up. Right? Drat. You have to get going, And you only have to get going for 20 minutes for it to have an effect. In this regard, the body response is very much like prayer and meditation in that a little goes a long, long way. It's unfair how generous it is in its return to us. My schedule's been all mixed up lately, I've been traveling around, promoting my book on meditation, and as a result, not meditating, You know how that is, Go around and talk about it, but don't do it. So as a result, my regular Saturday morning walk around Spring Lake with a dear friend, I've been missing it for a couple of months now. And yesterday I was able to do it again, and off we went walking. And it only takes 40 minutes to walk around Spring Lake. Just takes 40 minutes. And then when you do it, what a dose of sky and breath. And then if you're lucky, good conversation and nature and sights. And then very soon, happiness follows it. It's just following. It's following you like a puppy dog. It's coming. I feel so fortunate to live in this county. There's so many places we can go to be in nature. Yeah. And I was just reading on the Press Democrat that article about Armstrong Woods, which is at risk due to lack of appropriate care, and they're thinking about dropping a pipeline deep down in it. Go read it. It's disturbing. These precious resources have the ability to meet us in a visceral, deep level and ought to be cherished and enjoyed. Working towards challenging goals makes you happy. We're always happier when we've got something to do, especially if we like it. Because when we like doing what we're doing, if it represents a bit of a challenge, we even get more out of it. We like it. We like it very, very much if we're working towards a challenging goal, because the energy and the time that we put into it actually displaces all of that other stuff, which is there, but it gets pushed out of the way. I'm talking about negative feelings of depression. It's not that they go away, but in time you can change your experience. You can have the weight of your time being engaged in things that you absolutely love doing. Because when we're trying to figure out something that has something to do with something we love, our founder, Ernest Holmes, he says that when our creativity has no outlet, that's when addiction sets in. I remember when I read that, how startling it was. I understand that. When our creativity, our self-expression is thwarted, then we get up to mischief. My grandmother used to say, what idle hands The devil's workshop. Smart woman. So the conclusion to this is don't go easy on yourself, too easy on yourself. Take on some big projects, learn something, do something, create something, participate in something, even if it means putting yourself in the position of having to fail at it. You know Elon Musk, the founder of Tesla car company, and the founder of SpaceX, the only company in the world, private company that sends spaceships up into the sky. South African, you know. I only claim them when they are famous. It's like my grandmother used to claim me when I was good. Yeah. Anyway, Elon Musk, you want some inspiration about somebody who is engaged in his passion. Yeah, go listen to interviews online, read about him. Well, he says that if something is important enough, then you should try it even if the probable outcome is a failure. Because it's going to make you happy, the doing of it. And he says, in fact, if things are not failing, then you're not being innovative enough. Isn't that amazing? Love that. How about this? Giving to a charity or cause that you care about will make you happy. Well, we knew that. But now, scientists have used MRI technology to study the brain activity of people engaged in charitable giving to see what happens. Don't you know that when they're looking at a person's brain who is engaged in charitable giving, it causes activity in the brain in the exact same region that is stimulated when you feel great pleasure or when you are being rewarded? Now, the Harvard School of Business has got some papers that are exploring the relationship between giving and happiness, intending to show that happier people give more, and that giving indeed causes happiness, and that the two activities, happiness and giving, are actually circular in fashion. So it doesn't matter where you start. Give to be happy, or be happy and notice giving increase. It's related. Now for a fun one, I don't have a slide for it. Number 9 is just a fun one. It comes right from happier.com. It says that cheering for your team helps with happiness. Who knew? I didn't know. It's a wonderful thing. Yeah, indeed, it reduces anxiety and relieves stress. It says right there that there are several studies that show that sport fans are less likely to be depressed and anxious. Who knew? I see a lifestyle change for me coming along. Well, don't you know, our staff has a play day one day a year. We go out and do something to nurture relationships. Do you know that this year we are going down to San Francisco to watch a Giants game together? Yeah, that's wonderful. Yeah, and but now I know I am changed. I know that even though I have no idea what is happening down on that little field, I must cheer. I'm just hoping that I cheer at the right time because it's happiness making, and happiness making activities is a way that we contribute to the world. It's worth the effort. And number 10 should be up there. Being happy isn't just about being fun, it's also about health. Because happy is associated in so many ways to lower risk of heart attack, to better immunity towards colds and flu. So the advice from happier.com goes something like this: smile, give it a shot. Go outside, be in nature, let nature minister to you. Be generous, it will make you connected to other people in life. Take time to record the beautiful, gentle, small, happy moments in your life. Set some goals, learn something, stretch, risk. Say thank you a lot by writing it down or in your mind. And give your friends and your family the very best part of you, your time. and then your hugs. And laughter is so very much part of nurturing these beautiful senses of happiness, which is why we're reading together The Healing Power of Happiness, and which is why it is very important for us to read the part 2 of the book that deals with the excellent advice about humor that says it's not always fun and games. That there are indeed times, like in the song we heard, where sensitivity is required. Times when we don't feel like laughing, appropriately so. And he lists some of the causes that might contribute: embarrassment, pain, anger, rejection, worry, anxiety, risk, fear, criticism. And these are some of the topics that Rabbi George Gittleman and I will be covering in our spiritual enrichment course coming up soon. The power of vulnerability and what it means to stand in those feelings. The author talks about how important it is to know about these so that we can minimize our humor risks. Because there is a time when, laughing is dangerous. Like, for example, if you laugh at someone's pain, it's just cruel. Or if you laugh at someone's misfortune, even if it's warranted and they deserve it, because of the crazy way that karma has a way of coming back around and biting you. So the idea is learning how to laugh with someone instead of at someone. And to minimize the risks, what I've got from the reading so far, the most important thing I've got, is to not make the assumption that I know and understand what makes you laugh. There are times when it can be appropriate. And so I'm really learning that risque humor, it's best shared when you already have a deep, close, intimate knowledge of another person and you have a foundation of trust already where that if you do overstep the mark, forgiveness will be available. So where to begin? Well, really at home, where it always begins, right? And he recommends that we just begin looking around at things in the world, our world, that make us smile, to dwell upon that as a way of amplifying it in our life. I was telling a friend of mine, the very friend I was walking around Spring Lake with, and he said, this month is the first time at the Center for Spiritual Living that I've actually stuck with the theme every single day of the month, and I've had a BLT every morning and every night. And I said, a sandwich? No, he said, no. Baby laughter therapy. He said, I've been worshiping at the temple of YouTube and looking up baby laughter. And he said, I just sit there in the morning at night and I watch the videos until I have an authentic belly roll laugh. And he says, what a difference it's making in my world. And so I thought I'd try it yesterday while I was putting the notes together, and so I pulled up the first baby video and I thought, that's cute, Look at the next one. I notice a little curl in the lip. That's funny. And then, you're going to hit one. Mine was the baby with the bubbles and the dog. And then it's over. Just the innocence, the open-heartedness, the laughter. And it's just pointless. Other than it opens us up to the authentic reality of just being. Just the miracle of just being here is so wonderful. And don't you know, that work that we do to find our happiness is not wasted. It's not for naught, really. Can't say it's pointless. It's our way of making a contribution to the world. And don't you know, there are times when the effort required to make that journey is substantial. So to have compassionate with self and others when we try to meet our happiness again, and to keep in mind that the work you're doing is not for you alone. It's for everybody. Everybody benefits from the ripple effect of you remembering who you are. A place, a center within the mind of God, and with that goes tremendous power. What you dwell upon and what you birth in this world, very, very significant. Let us pray. As we breathe in together and exhale, I refer to those words that we began with in the affirmation of this morning. I am conscious of the spirit of joy within me. And I recognize that that term, spirit of joy, is a synonym for the divine, that which is everywhere present. In this particular form today, we observe it as the spirit of joy. Most easily, most readily seen in nature as it appears in the spring, and reminding us of the endless cycles of renewal, reminding us that there is that within ourselves which is being called forth, heralding its own new birth in us. In this season of renewal and rebirth, we feel harmonized with this idea, this power, this waking up, this regeneration that is taking place all around, but most importantly, all within. And it is so effortless, just merely by shifting the landing zone of our focus from without to within, shifting the focus to that which makes us smile. We rediscover that which has always been present, a deep, profound, beautiful awareness. It is the I am within us. And so we dwell upon that to let it change us, so that as we contemplate its eternal being within each one of us, we grow in likeness of its beautiful expression in the world. Indeed, we become channels for its expression. We become a place where it is readily and easily seen, understood, and felt. And for this we are deeply grateful. So I release this word of prayer to that aspect of the divine we call the law of mind, as a reminder that there is in place already spiritual laws that are listening in and responding to our prayer, because our minds are centers of divine activity within the mind of God. We take this seriously. We believe in it together, and we let it be. And I invite you to breathe in with me and exhale into a moment of quiet contemplation.